Good morning and welcome to Wake Up Real Estate. It's Thursday. It's Tech Tip Thursday. And the tech tip is how to be. Oh, no, he's back. I thought it was going to be how to be an invisible man on the internet. We've got some discussion and training around 24-hour recorded messages to get more leads. But before we get to that, please smash the like button. Your mannequin leg.
I was missing this. It was in my 18-year-old son's room, and he claimed it was his now.
Oh, well, I mean, what are you going to do?
I won the battle.
Yeah, well, he's an adult now. Good luck. Anyway, so we're going to talk about 24-hour recorded messages, and here's how I know why this is going to be good. Ryan actually prepared and sent me a document prior to us going live here. So we've got that to look forward to. So we're going to get into that. I have one tech tip that I'm going to share as well that actually came up as a recommendation from a fellow by the name of Don right here in Pennsylvania, who recently signed up for our absentee listing boot camp. So before we get into that, though, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. That tells the YouTube algorithms that what we're doing here is good and useful and helpful. And as always, the show is brought to you by JustListedJustSold.com, powered by Thanks.io, and our NEXA Mortgage team. We've got some great, unique programs, and rates came down again. Good news. Good news. Have those conversations with folks. Ryan is impromptu going to do a social post here. Do we get one that we get a ride along, a social post of the day ride along?
Yeah, because I was preparing for the IVR stuff, the voicemail recording stuff, and I didn't get one, but let's do a voice recording one.
Okay.
So how to buy your first home with as little money down as possible. Call 215-900-4065 for 30 seconds.
What's that number? I know that number.
Message. Oh, I've had that number forever. That's my Google Voice number.
Oh,
yep.
That's one of like 17 numbers I have in my phone that somehow are associated with Ryan Hartman.
Yeah. So yeah. So this is just a prelude to what we're about to do. But you could record a message on your Google Voice with a quick tip, right?
Yeah.
And just do that. I don't have any graphics made, so let's just do call on phone. Let's see what happens here. We'll use Facebook's native GIF builder here. There we go.
That guy's great.
Yep. And then we'll just use our emoji kind of thing here to make it, that tool. I forget what that's called. What's this called? Joy Pixels, right?
Joy Pixels, I think. Yeah. Yep. Joy Pixels.
Yeah. We use that extension. All right, quick post. Now, I just recorded a demo message on there. I don't even know if it worked, but if you guys call that, you might hear me being silly or something. I don't know. But that's an idea of what you could do. It's just another way to capture a lead.
Yeah.
And a real phone
number. This is in no way, shape, or form. Yeah, this is in no way, shape, or form useful. But as you were doing that and looking for the call on a phone, it made me, smile. The email reminder that we sent out this morning had it had a red old school phone, which also then reminded me of Ryan a couple of weeks ago on the show when he was flying solo with somehow he found a rotary phone, one of the desktop rotary phones, which is, that is an antique now. That's a little Easter egg for you to go find in a past episode. I don't know. It was a couple of weeks ago. Go to the Wake Up Real Estate YouTube channel and go and find that. It's worth. It was short and sweet, but it's worth it. Okay, so we're going to get back to the 24-hour recorded message topic, but before we do, this is a perfect follow-up to something I've been talking about all week, which is doing the work, messaging 10 people one-to-one every day. I did mine this morning as part of my fitness and follow-up. And yesterday, one of the things that I talked about was, well, what if you don't have a database? What if you don't have thousands of people in your KV core who are coming back and looking at homes or looking at a market report or requesting an updated home valuation? And so this morning, I got an email from Don in Pennsylvania. And Don had earlier this week enrolled in our absentee listing bootcamp, which if you want to check out the free training, you can go to absenteeclass.com, absenteeclass.com. You can check out the free training. And he signed up for the bootcamp. And one of the first, so my fast start to it was showing how to use Zillow to find for rent by owners.
Furbos.
As people that you can message. Those are absentee owners, and you can send them a message. Hey, would you consider selling your rental property at blank address? And Don, one of the things that sucks about doing it that way with Zillow is, at least I haven't been able to find a way in Zillow to filter for just the for rent by owners. In other words, you have to manually go through and find the ones that don't have a property management company or a realtor that is listing the property for rent. But Don sent me this morning a recommendation of HotPads, hotpads.com.
Whoa.
Didn't even know it was still around, right? I had no idea it was still around.
Old school.
What's funny is it says Zillow, I think, owns it or whatever. So it's like a Zillow data feed is in there somehow. But on HotPads, you can filter for rent by owners. And in playing with it this morning, just Camp Hill, which is a tiny little town in central PA, just Camp Hill, I was able to filter for rent by owner. And then I can also filter house, townhouse, or duplex. So I can get a targeted list of people. And it's a great way for you. If you don't know who to message, if you don't have 10 people a day to message, that's another way that you can meet your quota, let's say.
That's a good tech tip. Let's just call it a day, and we're gonna go play with this, and we'll forget the voicemail stuff, because this is really cool. So I just did it. This is actually really good looking and easy to use.
Yeah, it's killer. I had no idea it was still around. So shout out to Don Jordan. Works in the Poconos in PA. If you've got, speaking of which, Lo, you had a client. If you still need somebody, a realtor in the Poconos, let me know. I'll get you hooked up with Don. Don's in the Poconos. You asked me the other day. It's funny how the world works in real estate. But a great little workaround. If you'd like more on how to connect with and get listings from absentee owners, go to absenteeclass.com. Which, one last thing on that. Yesterday, I had an absentee owner call me, guy named Jim. He called me in the afternoon, and he called from an email that I sent to absentee owners in Enola that said, "Hey Jim, I've got a cash offer on your rental property at blank address." And he called and said, "Hey, I've kind of been thinking about selling it, and so I was just curious what the numbers look like on what you had to offer." Super nice guy, not confrontational at all. So I said, "Hey Jim, I was out running errands or something." I said, "Hey, let me call you back when I'm back on my laptop. I don't have the numbers in front of me." So before I called him back, I looked him up on PropStream, and he's got 3 rental properties in the same neighborhood. A great neighborhood for rentals. He owns a property down the street from me in the other direction. That's his personal residence, and has one other commercial. Called him back, ran him through the numbers, told him what I thought all 3 of his rentals were worth. He said, "Yeah, that's kind of along the lines. My wife and I are going to, we're kind of deciding, are we going to sell one of them? Should we sell all 3 of them? Not sure exactly what we're going to do. But we'll call, I've got your name." He actually asked me, "Would it be okay if I keep your contact information and reach back out to you?" So of course. So it was a great conversation. What did I do though? Right. So I don't leave that up to chance. I added him as a contact in KV Core. I set him up on a market report, on a home valuation for the one that he was calling me about. And I sent him, sorry, Ryan, I didn't use thanks for this, but I personally sent him a handwritten thank you card with my business card this morning. "Hey, Jim, thanks for the call. Hope you have a great Thanksgiving, and look forward to chatting again soon." So anyway, absenteeclass.com is how, I'll walk you through how, the specific steps that led to that opportunity. Now what you all came for, which is how to use 24-hour recorded messages to capture leads. Yes, even today in 2023.
So this is a little, I will confess, I haven't used this personally in a while, but with people who are using banks.io, it's coming up a lot because as I mentioned on the mastermind yesterday, Josh, you've got a lot of people who don't want to send a text message or scan a QR code for whatever reason.
Right.
Maybe they're a little older. Maybe there's the medium they're on. If you think about if you're on your phone itself and you're confronted with a QR code, for example, might be inconvenient.
How do you scan it?
Yeah, how do you scan it?
Right.
So this medium, what is it? I think you guys all know, but it's basically a direct response capture point where somebody calls in to listen to a recorded message. The fact that it's a recorded message lowers the barrier in the person's mind because they know they're not going to have to talk to you, a salesperson, right? This medium itself, yes, it's old school, but because it's old school, it's very, very, very tested. I mean, every infomercial, millions and billions of dollars have gone behind advertising call response numbers, and you'll still see commercials, mostly midday, I've noticed, because who's watching TV midday, where it's a call-in number, right? Call in for info. So this still works like crazy. It's kind of like mail, where we've gotten away from it because there's all these new whiz-bang tech things, toys to play with. So yeah, it's very old school, very tested. Older people might prefer calling versus texting or scanning a QR. I think that's a fair point, right? And I think now younger people might see it as a novelty, and they definitely don't want to talk to you on the phone.
I definitely agree. The fact that it is a recorded message, and also there's a certain part of the younger population that is nostalgic about a time that they didn't even participate in.
Yeah,
like they have this nostalgic ideas or beliefs about a simpler time, right? And this harkens back to a simpler time.
And then overall, Josh, for that reason, this could just be a good pattern interrupt right now.
Yeah.
Just simply because not too many people are doing it, especially on the traditional, the modern channels like the TikToks, the Facebook, Instagram. The calls to action you're seeing there, go to this website, text me. You're not seeing call-in numbers. So that could be another good reason to employ it.
This is completely anecdotal, but I would guess that you would get the same quote-unquote conversion rate on people that call a recorded message as you will from people coming from your Google business listing.
Yeah.
I would guess that 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 that actually call on a recorded message will turn into a client if you do the correct follow-up and follow through on them.
Well, and I love that you have more time to get your message across. It's not like a text message response where you have 140 characters or you have more, but they get to hear your voice. You can go in depth on a topic. Any area of expertise you have can be turned into a recorded message, and is a way to deliver really good value.
Absolutely.
In a leveraged fashion. So just some ideas for real estate. I just jotted a few down. There's millions, right? There's any way you can go with this, but call to learn more about price and special financing options. So, on a listing sign writer or on a postcard. So if you're advertising a specific listing.
So I would, one small tweak there, and I know this is just a brain dump, but my marketing brain, I would say call for either up to the minute pricing, quote unquote, or real time pricing, right? Because that infers the fact that like the pricing could change at any point, right? And it may be going up, it may be going down, who knows? But like that, just playing it up a little bit, up to the minute or real time pricing, I think means you'll get more people that'll call out of curiosity.
Yep. Financing offers on sign writers. I mean, let's face it, guys. I'm as guilty as this is everybody. Josh, you probably are too. That real estate on your sign writers is the most under-leveraged, underutilized, free, almost nearly free, because what's a sign writer cost?
Yeah.
Nobody does this. But how to finance this home, zero money down, call for a recorded message. So get your lender partner to put a rider on there with a recorded message.
And by the way, because of some different things, like that off, you can make that offer on a vast majority of listings. It does not have to qualify for USDA. There are any number of ways. Another possible option, if you can't legitimately make that, is call for a free recorded message about how you can buy this home before you sell your current home or something like that. And that would be the buy before you sell program. Get creative with it.
Yep. 3 insider tips for buying your first or next investment property in St. Pete, Florida. I was thinking this could also be 3 best neighborhoods to buy in. Yep. It's just an example of taking some specific slice of expertise that you have. And a good way to come up with that is just think about what people have asked you recently.
Yeah.
The good questions you've gotten from buyers, and turn that into a 30-second to 3 minute. It could be 3 minutes long if the content's good and useful to somebody. Yeah. 5 reasons why now is the perfect time to become a real estate agent for recruiting. Sure. 3 weekly hot buy investment properties called here this week's pick. So if you want to maintain this from week to week and update it, here are my best 3 buys for the week of, and you might want to be specific, for the week of 11/15/23. Yep. 3 best investment properties in Harrisburg. So this would go along with whatever your niche is, but you could easily come up with a piece of content, right, that is your core lead magnet, referencing the Renos Real Estate Niche Operating System, and use this as your main capture point, and all day long just have people calling in, and then you can simply you have their phone number, you can call them back, and then there's probably some other ways to automatically follow up too, depending on what systems you're using.
Sure.
All right. So that's that. Other places to put this: back of your business card. So you're checking out at the grocery store. You give the checkout. Well, they don't exist anymore. The checkout person, whoever you interact with, right?
In Central PA, we've got half and half. In Central PA, we've got half and half. We've got the self-serve checkout, but we still do have some folks there. Yeah.
Anywhere you'd advertise. Shopping carts, park benches, buses can have a recorded message.
Well. Yeah, so you mentioned SignWriter, right? So my brain went to, where can you use this where it's an under leveraged asset, right? So a SignWriter on every property. B, if you're using flyers for the property, make sure it's on there as well. Or if you don't want to do the SignWriter, put it on there, okay? In the flyers for the property. Any ad or post you make can have PS. Call this number for whatever, a free recorded message about how to, 3 ways to buy a home for 0 money down or 0 down payment right now.
And it could sit in your email signature in that example.
Exactly. That's another way one. And that's a wonderful workaround to not having a bunch of different links in your email, right? That gets to the email deliverability thing, right?
Craigslist.
So that's a huge one. Craigslist and or Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace, as another way for people to get more information, right? And I mean that's barely, not even remotely an exhaustive list in any way, shape, or form, but just some ideas that
What I love about this too, Josh, is you don't have to build a website with a form or a Facebook lead form. It's very low tech. Yes. Anybody watching, you can do this and figure it out pretty easily. Yeah. So tools to get
transitions to how do we do it?
Yeah, how do we do it? So probably the free, easy, quick way is just pick up another Google account with a Google Voice number, because you can get a free Google account with a free Google Voice. The process for setting that up, it's pretty straightforward. I barely need to show you guys. If you could get on the screen, you can figure it out. But you go to Google Voice, voice.google.com. You create your account, and then in the settings, you'll see the voicemail option. And then you simply just go to where it says record a greeting, and you record your greeting.
Yep.
And then the idea here would be that you're not using this number for anything else but your greeting, right?
Yep.
So this is the free low tech. You're only going to have one number. You can set some other things up, like every time there's a message, you can have it forwarded to your email. You could also have call forwarding to your main numbers. You're probably not going to want to do that on a recorded. Right. But so I might turn that off there, but you can screen and call. There's all kinds of options. So easy.
What you don't want to do though is bait and switch, right? You don't want to say it's a free 24-hour recorded message and then someone picks up, because then you're going to spook people out. Give them the actual recorded message.
Yeah, but then you can use Google Voice to send you the text transcription if the person leaves you a message, because your message might go something like, you'll give the content, but then you'll say, hey, after the beep, tell me a little bit more about what type of property you might be looking for, and I'll get back to you. So you can use the voicemail part of that. Yep. Another thing you can do, I have like 5 extra cell numbers, Josh, because T-Mobile, every time I go to buy a phone, they're like, if you get an extra line, I'm a sucker. Yep. I just do whatever they say. So I've got all these extra, and I'm sure people watching, like if you have an extra cell line, and a lot of the carriers, it's pretty affordable actually to get an additional line. You know, you can probably even get one from your ISP or your internet service provider, Spectrum, Comcast, whatever you use, and ask them for another number. CRMs, a lot of CRMs have these built in. I do know that Go High Level, Sales Pipe are 2. I don't think KV Core Smart Number can do this. I don't know about Lofty. What the interesting thing about the CRMs that have this functionality is that you can trigger automations off the call-in.
Yep.
So if you're using one of those Go High Level based white label systems, iList is a good example of somebody who has that. You might find that you have this built in. Don't hold me to that. Don't drive Joe over at iList crazy. Ask him, but you might find you have this already in your CRM. There are specific call tracking softwares for this stuff. Call tracking metrics, CallRail, whatconverts.com. These are a little more sophisticated and techy. But if you are doing this for, say you're a broker or you have a large team and you want to provide this for multiple agents, you might start to look at some of these solutions or the high level or sales pipes, and you can give every agent at your company their own numbers and things like that. I did some quick research. If I was just going to buy like a more sophisticated service and not use Google Voice today, I'd probably go use this evoice.com.
I can't. This is so trippy. I was using eVoice back in like 2006. This is
I know they've been around forever. But they do that. You know, they're kind of like they do this specific thing basically.
Right.
And there's probably 100 more that do this. But I looked at their plans and pricing. It's like $14 a month. You can. I think what I liked about them is they have the automated attendant. Like you can have people put a code in, so you can use the one number, but then tell them to enter code XYZ, and then you have multiple offers you can make out of one system. So. Something to consider. And then I don't know. I actually did the demo video for this product years ago, and I haven't talked to Tim in a good bit. Tim Harris and Julie Harris have 1-800-HOME-HOTLINE.com is a real estate specific version of this. This has been around forever. I know a lot of their community use this every day with great success. So if you want something that's more real estate specific, definitely check out 1-800-HOME-HOTLINE. I think it does texting and some other stuff too. A little pricey compared to some of the other options, but I think in exchange for the priciness, you do get some real estate specific stuff out of the deal. So you get a dedicated toll-free number, you get multiple extensions, things like that. So
I'll give one other option.
Yeah.
One other option. Listings to Leads has an add-on text and IVR.
I did not know that.
You can get a free trial at growwithjosh.com/L, the number 2 L, growwithjosh.com/L, the number 2 L. I love Listings to Leads for a whole slew of reasons. I personally have not used the text or IVR function, but if you, it does, it says buyer and seller text interactive voice response from Listings to Leads. And the last thing, there's a bunch of things it does. The last thing, they can listen to an automated recording of the property description. So I would probably lean right now if I were watching this, I'd probably just go right there because of the other tools they offer. Because you want, whenever you're buying more tech stuff, if it can do multiple things and save you money, you go after that. My next question for Listings to Leads or the 1-800, all of these would be, all right, if I get the call in, what kind of automations can I trigger? Right.
You know, so can I send a zap out from Listings to Leads to KV Core that tags the person a certain way and then so I can automatically send a text back? That's going to be sort of the next level of this. But keeping it simple, you could, I don't know, Josh, you could probably run a really good real estate practice with one really good recorded message that you put everywhere out there. And if you're just consistent about calling people back who call in, it doesn't need to be more complicated than that, does it?
You're going to get fewer leads, but they're going to be, generally speaking, more motivated, more, more in the market, let's say. The trick would be, number one, creating something compelling enough that someone would pick up the phone and want to dial and want that information, right? So it's got to be something that is compelling and curiosity creating enough to get them to do that. But there's definitely something to be said for it. And or just layer it on to what you're already doing and try to find whatever under leveraged marketing assets you have. Because if it's not, I think too often, and I'm guilty of this too, you focus too much on the short term. But what if you found something that was compelling and interesting and worked, and you used that for a year, right? Over a year time, over a longer time horizon, if you get 4 to 5 calls per month, it's probably 1 client per month extra. 12 clients at what we get paid, it's worth figuring this out, and coming up with something compelling enough where people will call. Well, they'll dial in and see what you've got to say, and then making sure that you follow up and follow through. So Ryan, you've got the Google ad dashboard. What are we looking for here?
I just want to make a point here. Google and Facebook does this now too. You can run specific, we've talked about this, phone call ads. Yeah. So your copy in your Google ad could be call in for XYZ information. So somebody could be Googling sell my house fast, how to sell your house, as quickly as possible with no jibba jabba. I don't know. You have to figure out what the compelling offer is, but that could be running straight on Google, right on Facebook, straight through a call in voicemail. And your conversion is always going to be better than if they think they're calling you to talk to you. Always.
Correct. Correct. But now you've got their real phone number.
Yep.
Right. And
pretty cool.
And you can use, as Ryan mentioned, you can use the end of your message to filter out, right? If all of this is if you'd like to schedule a private VIP tour, leave a message with the date and time that you'd like to check it out, right? That I don't know that.
Or to take the next steps, go to josh15.com now.
Right. Or if it's about special financing, if you're ready to get started right now, you can go and create a free account and start an application at joshesapp.com, right? Whatever, you've got to make it all congruent. It's got to be compelling, and it's got to be congruent, and you've got to do it consistently. Compelling, congruent, consistently is how you can turn this into another source of opportunities in your business. Because the other thing is to consider is by layering this into what you're already doing, you're capturing a bigger pie of people, right? Because if X amount of people are seeing your marketing, and Y% of them will take the action by scanning the QR code, there's another % of them that would call but never. There's some that would do either, right? Because they're so compelled, they're so motivated, etc. But there's some that will only do one or the other. And so offering both of those. Another example that we didn't even mention where you could do this, postcards.
Yeah.
So thanks.io, right? You've got the QR codes. But why not also include we typically, I always have my phone number and tell them they can call or text. But I think they're talking to a human being, right? It can be a little bit off-putting. But if I can find something compelling for them to call for a 24-hour, scan the QR code to the right, or for a free 24-hour recorded message, call, blah, 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 more you'll get. You certainly won't get less people engaging and taking action. You could only get more. Unless
you can also off QR codes, you can trigger Just Listen Just Sold does this. You can trigger the phone to open up. So you could say scan the QR code to listen to a message, and it would be congruent. But I think the simplest is just call this number. Josh, as the market slows down this time of year, happens every year, with everything that's going on in the market, if you're looking for a free system to build your business, almost free, business cards with a number on it, right? a good call-in number, use a free Google Voice account, and get that offer and that number everywhere you go. How to buy your first home with zero money down. I promise you, people will call that number. I don't know what the quality will be.
Put it on your business card,
on your car,
Craigslist ads, marketplace ads, in your signature file. Find every possible free way.
In the back of your car in traffic, the little magnet, so for under $100, you can a bunch of business cards, maybe a car magnet wrap, put a tattoo on the back of your neck with the number.
Your social posts, right? If you're posting on social media, fun, engaging stuff, you can always put, at the bottom of it, ... for a free 24-hour recorded message about how to buy your first or next home with zero down payment. Call this number, which, by the way, I think that's what I'm trying to, as we were doing this, I'm trying to figure out how am I going to implement this? Like what compelling hook am I going to use, and where am I going to start using that? And so that's my homework for this afternoon. I'm going to figure out what and how, what I'm going to offer as a compelling message, and then how am I going to start implementing that into what I've already got going activity-wise.
And think about getting strategic with the phone number if you can. Like we have the 866-888-403-MORT.
Yes.
As you choose the numbers, think about that. The different tools that I mentioned, you can kind of see what letters there would be. So
that's a good point. So like trying to get 717-5120 or something,
right,
ZERO or something. I don't know if that would even
buy house, buy home.
Yeah. I like that as well, because then you've got something that if you ever wanted to, you could put on a billboard, or your social media messages. It's like a billboard, or when you put it on images, it's if you can figure out a way to make it communicate the message of what it is, even better. Now that may be easier said than done, but Lowe says this was fire. I agree. Ryan brought the fire for sure. This was good stuff. And then Andrew chimed in on the pun. Pun unintended on the chime/lofty. They have an inbound and outbound voice message option, but he hasn't tried it. So, all right. We will. The document that Ryan shared will get added to the description above or below wherever you may be watching this. It'll also get added into the Wake Up. We'll add it to the Wake Up site, wakeup.realestate, wakeup.realestate. If you haven't created your free account, go there, create your free account. It'll be there for you. Also, yesterday's mastermind, we had several people prior to the mastermind ask for a replay. That is also been added to the members area. It was an end-to-end walkthrough of a listing-centric real estate niche operating system. A listing-centric real estate niche operating system. It's in the free members area when you go to wakeup.realestate and either log in or create a free account. I wasn't sure what Andrew was asking there, Ryan. Were you using?
Oh, the pixel tracking. I wasn't sure either. You can some of the actual call-in numbers you can kind of like track, if that's what he means. You can add them to retargeting list. The more advanced ones you can. I don't know. He might be referring to something else though. We should get our mastermind.
Something more advanced too. Some of these that you can have a recorded message and then they can pound 1 to connect with an agent now. Right. So that you could, you can get fancy with this, but don't get fancy. Start with this. What compelling offer could you put in your email signature, on your sign riders, on your car, in your social media posts? Like what would work? What would get people calling, because you're creating so much curiosity that it should
make them want to work with you at the end. So think about your best tip for somebody moving to your area or working with you in your niche. Say it's an investor or a first time. What's the golden tip you can offer that they'll just be blown away by? Because if you give them that, then they're going to want to. The rapport is instantly built, and then they're going to want to work with you further.
So as we're talking this through, here's what I'm thinking. I mentioned this. I think I said this, or maybe it was the mastermind, that in my changing of how I'm delivering my weekly email newsletter, I used MailChimp And I started with an email that was spammy in nature. It was about how to buy a home with 0 down payment. And so I got shut down very quickly. Now I've pivoted. I've already got plan B. My first email with plan B went out this morning. All seems to be going well. But in thinking that through, that offer, number one, got me multiple clients already in the pipeline. Number two, that would work great as a recorded message. It's a short recorded message. If you'd like a more detailed, on-demand workshop, or I'd have to figure out how to make that tradition, just go to, this URL or leave a message with your email and I'll email the video replay to you or something like that. I think that's probably where I will start because I have proof of concept of that content being compelling enough to get people to want more information, A, and B, getting people to actually take action and want to work with me as well. So, might as well take something that's already, that I have proof is working on some level and not have to start from scratch.
Cool. So that was, we're good. 11:38.
Yeah.
Let's call it
So tomorrow's follow-up Friday. I am going to, I'm taking some liberties here, but I'm going to share some thoughts and ideas. I spoke with a great agent in Georgia. She has a listing that hasn't sold. And she was asking for some help with creating some marketing, whether around the financing side or just generally speaking on how to get some activity and help these folks get it sold. So I'm going to dig into that a little bit, some of the thoughts that I shared with her, get some ideas going for this, which actually does potentially tie into this, right? Because one of the ideas I said was put in your remarks, don't forget to ask me how you can buy this home before you sell your own, right? Now, she can't put a recorded message in public remarks on the MLS. At least most MLSs won't let you, but there's ways that you could do that. So we'll do that. Also, programming, please make note of this. No live shows next week. There'll still be some content coming out, some repurposed things, or it's, a good time for you to go back and binge watch the last month or whatever. But we'll be back live again on Monday, whatever the Monday is after Thanksgiving. Monday, the 27th.
All right.
So good stuff. Ryan, this was great. And I'm looking forward to finding ways to implement this in as soon as possible.
No tracking on that, Andrew.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Right.
Hopefully see you tomorrow. Go to wakeup.realestate and use the chat widget if you need help or have questions or want the document that Ryan was walking through. See you tomorrow.
See you guys.